Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachala.
श्लोकम् मनप्रसाद सौम्यत्वम् मौनम् आत्मविनिग्रहः भावशिं सिद्धिरेतत् तपो मानस उच्यते. This is in 17th chapter of Gita, 16th slokam if I remember correct. Says sincerity of mind, serenity of mind, kindliness, silence, self-control, and there is honesty of motive. These are together called mental austerity. So if you remember each one of these points, it's like meditating. Serenity of mind, kindness, silence, self-control, and purity of motive, honesty of purpose. These are all mental austerity. And once you practice that silence, what our Sanjay always says, all these are taken into account. That's all other things are dragged by this silence. That's the beauty. How you practice one thing, the other things completely follow. So this is, again and again, if you think of this shlokam, it gives you the whole purpose of life. Nothing else is needed. So this drives home the point very much. That's what I think always. This shlokam I go on repeating. Initially, when I was, say, like 28, 29, those days, the time, I used to like this shlokam because it, in a nutshell, tells the whole purpose of life of how the mind can be concentrated, and only that is required. Nothing else is required.
Actually, you see, silence is nothing but you. And when you surrender to silence your whole life, your whole story, your whole beingness, they say that Brahman is attributeless, but I sometimes feel it is attributeful. All these are attributes, isn't it? Peace, love, bliss, happiness, joy. These are actually, though it is nirvikar, it does not have a form and it has no characteristics, but still, without characteristics, it has its own innate characteristics in a way, which never changes, always the same. And you stay in silence, or you adopt silence, you become silent. And silent is always contented and happy and blissful and peaceful, because there is no noise there, no resistance, no friction. I remember when I was doing a yoga course in India, one of the teachers actually said that if you can practice one of the, there are yamas and niyamas of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. If you pick up one and follow one, you will get enlightened. And his favorite used to be santosha, contentment. If you have contentment, nothing else needs to be done. What else needs to be done if you are contented? If you are contented, you will have zero thoughts, because you have no desires, no attachment, no likes, no dislikes. There is no ripple, no wave. And no wave is your ocean. You are actually ocean. Because of not even settling with a disturbed mind, we are creating more ripples. If we settle with whatever the mind we have been given or we have created, Not you will settle, the mind will settle. It is your unhappiness with your own mind which keeps creating ripples in the mind. This is mainly for a sadhak, for a seeker, because a seeker thinks until the mind is settled, he will not be free. So again, you are giving a condition to the mind. Now you have given keys in the hands of mind. So the mind knows that you are still its slave. Until I am not settled, you will not be settled. Again, we are slave of the mind. We are conditioned with mind. But the moment you just accept whatever mind you have been given by the divine, or if you have created with your desires and attachments, or you have been born with that type of mind, just accept it. Accept it, but don't follow it. Stay quiet with whatever type of mind you have been given. Stay quiet. That's all. No practice needed, no sadhana needed, nothing else needed. You have to accept your own mind, whatever it is. You settle within your own self. If you are not getting disturbed by any type of thought, disturbed means because you are paying attention to thoughts, believing them, engaging with them, and then getting disturbed. Disturbance doesn't mean always negative. More disturbance is when you are proud of achievements, when you're proud of your doings, or when you are in abundance, when you are being pampered, and then you feel like, oh, this is what I deserve, or whatever. This type of thought is more dangerous than a thought which is creating suffering. Because a thought which is creating suffering, nobody wants to be close to that thought. You still want to detach. But rumination can be a habit, and then you get attached to it, and then you need psychotherapy or CBD or whatever, and then you want to detach, and then you engage yourself in some other activities. But the thoughts which are enticing, which are giving you pride, or you're proud of it, or it's giving you so much of joy, that your achievements or whatever it is, those thoughts, very difficult to detach from them. They are the major problem rather than the thoughts of suffering. So sometimes suffering brings your liberation more quickly than good periods and good times. And one of the Indian sages, Neem Karoli Baba, he used to say this very often when people used to come with a lot of suffering. He said, now it's a divine call. God is calling you. That's why the suffering is coming. That is why you have come to me. Otherwise, why would you go to sages? You will just enjoy your life. Now it is the time that you will be getting liberation. You see, one of the very contemporary enlightened soul, who Eckhart Tolle, if you look into his life, what he talks about is that he was going through very miserable life. He was very poor, no job. He was living on bread and tomato sauce. And, he was almost very depressed also. And he said that I just wanted to get rid of whatever it is. And somehow, boom, and he just got complete detachment from the mind. And from next day onward, next 6 months, he was sitting on a bench in a park somewhere in UK, and everything looked so good because the mind was just blown off. All disturbance, all suffering, everything is in the mind. But if you accept that mind, but don't engage in it, but just accept it, then you don't have to do any practice. Because who will do practice? Who is not free? You are already free. There are two entities. One is already free, which is uninvolved witness, just awareness. Not this body, not the mind which is thinking, not the brain which is functioning and giving rise to words, not the feelings, not the sensations, not the objects around us. None of these. It is just an awareness which is using this body mind complex, but it has no other relationship with body mind complex except using it for some time. But without body mind, it is fully alive, fully awake. It does not sleep and then dream and then need food to eat, does not get hungry, does not need clothes. Clothes are only for this body which we have to use. There are so many bodies which don't need clothes. Birds, animals, plants. They are not different from us. They also have the same consciousness. But somehow these bodies are very sensitive and they need clothes. But then there are bodies which have lived and they are still living, which don't put clothes. Like the land where we are living, Aboriginals, they were living just like any other beings in this world, without clothes, without houses, without jobs, without insurance. Even if you go deeper into Aboriginal history, you will get pearls of wisdom. They have dreaming. In English, people say dream time. If you ask any elder Aboriginal, they will say, no, it's not dream time. We don't believe in time. They have no past and no future in their day-to-day activities. They always lived in present. What they call as dreaming is what we call as Maya, illusion. We talk about illusion, isn't it? That this word is an illusion. They also say it's dreaming. That's why they never invested in this dreaming. They stayed as they were born, and they had sufficient to eat, and they had caves to live. They just accepted whatever was given by the nature rather than forming, developing, or doing anything. They just stayed at that level. And they were happy. They were happy for 60,000 years. Can you believe this? And the nature accepted them, nurtured them, and there was no problem until a more cultured human being came in 1788. And within no time, they were reduced from 90% population to only 10% of, only 90% were wiped off, only 10% left. Why? Because of the ego. Because people came with ego mind complex, who were more cultured. But we can learn from this land if you can understand the hidden meaning of their dreaming. They had no past and no future in their talk, because they were not looking for anything more than what it was in front of them. They were just resting. And this is such a resting place. You can even see in animals like koala, resting, beautiful resting. Very spiritual land. And if you see and to learn from the healing of this land, this is a very healing land. Everything talks to you. So silent. Miles, thousands of miles of silence if you go into any place.
When I first came from Hong Kong, which is a very noisy city, I felt as if I was in heaven, because in Melbourne it was so calm, and I could hear the ticking of the clock in the night. So when I sit quietly, the ticking was going on. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to switch off or take out the battery, because that noise is so much. I can't tolerate that noise. So it's unbelievable. When I first came in, that was the feeling I got.
It is. So the same silence, we have to go back to our roots. It's not Aboriginal roots, it's our roots, human beings' root. They were most purest people, living. They were so sacred in a way. We could have learned a lot, and we can still learn a lot from them. They just, whatever the nature gave, they just accepted, and they were living, and they were living happily for so long. And now you see Aboriginal mental health. They have the maximum psychiatric issues. Do you think they progressed, or we progressed? We gave them better life? No. We snatched away the best life they had before us. And same thing we are doing with ourselves. And same thing we are doing to our pets. I was really shocked and surprised visiting friends in Melbourne, and their kid and their pets are having depression, anxiety, all mental health disorders which human beings suffer, their pets are having those. This is what we have given to even animals around us. And see what Bhagavan gave when he was living in the body. All squirrels and monkeys and everything used to come to talk to him, to share their food, to talk about what day-to-day issues they were having. And he could understand them, they could understand him. They were all happy around him. Have you heard that there was an egg which by mistake fell from the nest which was next to the door when he opened the door? And Bhagavan was so hurt that he wanted that whatever is that in that egg should be saved. So he tied it, because there was a crack. He tied some thread or something. He tried to fix it and put it back in the nest, and then keep checking it. And can you believe it hatched, and a bird came out of that? What is this? This is love, isn't it? Not one life wasted by him. And we here are not even bothered about human lives. What a shame. This is pure spirituality, what Aboriginals were doing here. We can learn and we can do the same. Don't look for more. I'm not saying that you should go to minimalist and give away whatever you have. But if you have no attachment to whatever small or less you have, you are minimalist. I'm not asking you to throw away anything. But if you keep creating desires and attachments and more in whatever field or whatever things or objects or beings, you have messed up your mind. You are always in your mind. When you are asking for anything, you are asking for trouble. Trouble is bondage. Because a person who is asking is always a beggar. He can't be a king. And a beggar cannot be the king. Beggar cannot be the Lord. Do you think the God can be beggar? If you want to touch the God within, can you touch being a beggar? Being asking for things? And what it creates a noise. It creates an entity. And if you don't want to create an entity, just watch. Just watch with total acceptance. The moment you 100% decide to be in total acceptance of whatever, wherever situation is, you are free at that moment. No thing can bind you. But then the mind ticks and you follow the mind. And the mind asks you, no, I need this extra thing to eat, to dress up, to this, to do that. Strong attachments I'm talking about, not just simple, small things which have no impression on the mind. I'm talking which have a strong impression on the mind, which drags you out of this awareness. You can still stay as awareness and you can enjoy what you want to eat or travel or do things. There is no contradiction in living a good life and being in awareness. Not at all. But behaving as a person, behaving as an ego, and thinking only of this form, this body, as a real entity which you are serving is an issue. But if you stay as awareness, whatever comes, you accept. Whatever not comes, you accept. Whatever good and bad has to happen will still happen. Ticket to freedom is not ticket to just pure bliss all the time and happiness and good times. No, times will keep changing because it's an image, it's a movie, it's a dreaming. It continues. So outside situation, bodily situation, everything will change. Even a big cloud in a mind can come as a thought. Something tragedy can happen. That doesn't mean no thought will come. A thought can come. And thought should be allowed to come. But it has no weightage on you. Because you're so detached. And simple detachment is total acceptance. When you just accept whatever it is, good or bad. You don't even categorize good or bad, that I accept good and you just accept. When you accept, then there is nothing good and nothing bad. It is the mind which teases and categorizes and things into different categories. And then you like some stuff, whatever is going around you, and dislike some stuff. And sometimes we have very strong attachments. So even in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they don't just say likes and dislikes. They talk about strong likes and dislikes, which have a strong mental impression. Small things still you like. If you like a green color, if you like a black trouser, that's also okay. Nothing. That doesn't leave strong mental impression. But let's say if you can't get a black trouser and you can't go to work, you are so strongly attached to that, then it's an issue. So if you stay in awareness, it does everything for you. You get a 5-star treatment. It does everything for you what is being needed, not what you want. Again, if there are wants are still there, still you are in the ego mode. But yes, all your needs are fulfilled by that pure awareness, which is taking care of everything in all universes, in finite beings and things. It takes care of everything. But you need to have total acceptance. And the other thing which is important is when the awareness in you is taking care of everything, why can't it take care of this body mind? Who are you who is trying to take care? That creates you as a separate entity than rest of the world. And here comes resistance and here comes suffering. The moment you drop it, it is your own conviction. No one else can push you into it. But if you are open and you think, yes, this is true, if I can drop and I can just stay whatever comes, and you try to practice that. It's a very practical approach. It is not a bookish knowledge. Here we are not doing a yoga posture, or you keep doing. Here you are staying as awareness. Let's try to stay as awareness, and let's try to see what happens in our day-to-day life, how it folds, how it unfolds, what are the issues, what problems comes. And you will notice all problems are created by the mind only. There is no problem. There is no problem at all. The life is so smooth, so simple, so blissful. When you have your own story, your own agenda, your own plans, and things don't happen that way, then comes anger and frustration. Anger and frustration comes only when you have strong desires. And when anything blocks your desires, you get angry. Some people get angry about everything because they are attached, they have strong ego qualities, which we call as strong-minded people. And some people are so humble that big things happens and they don't say anything. Some people, they suffer with diseases and things which are really, really bad, and they still have that calmness on their face. And then there are some people who hardly have any health issues, but then they are so agitated even with small things. From where you get all this strength? From that same pure awareness. The moment you accept everything, which I call as total acceptance, everything sets you free. Because you're already free. It is only your attachments, your likings, your dislikings are creating this mind game in which you are trapped. So tell me, who can make you unhappy when you have already accepted whatever the things are? Then where is the space for unhappiness when you accepted whatever things are? When God sends someone to ask you, do you want any changes around you? Is your room, your partner, your food, your job? Do you want me to change anything? And you say, no, I'm happy. He said, no, I can make some change. You say, no, I'm good, I'm happy. So even God cannot make you more happier if you're already happy. And you know who will be the most happy if you are happy? It is the Absolute. Because He created this world and you came and started complaining. Let's say your partner has organized a party for you, a surprise party, okay? Brings you to the room and you say, oh, this is not nice food and this decoration is not good and look, this is not great and I don't like this. How that partner will feel who is trying to keep you happy. You have broken your partner's heart, isn't it? The other person is trying his or her best to please you. But you're not happy. You are an unhappy person. Divine has created this beautiful world around you. You came and you started complaining day and night. Who will be most hurt? Who has created this beautiful world around you? When we complain, we are complaining to the Absolute, about Absolute. And who are we to complain? This is such a shameful act. Who are we to complain? Are we someone special to complain? Do we deserve to complain? Have we paid anything for air? Have we paid for water? Have we paid for our birth? Have we paid for all this natural fauna, beautiful country, people around us, family? We take everything as granted. Only when we have started wearing masks, now we know how beautiful it is to just have a fresh air coming through two nostrils without a mask. We only know about when we lack oxygen, when someone have a COVID infection, you can't breathe and you need a ventilator. Then you know all this free air was such a divine gift to us. We never said thanks for it. The clean water we get. How can you say that I deserve? We always talk about our rights, but we never talk about our responsibilities. People go on the street and demonstrate and go against whatever the government is doing. And we say it is our right. What right? Live a life where we have no rights. And
Sanjay, I want to talk a little bit about what you said previously. There's a story in one of the Puranas. This Sanat Kumara, one of the Manasaputras of Brahmaji, he was sitting in meditation, complete meditation, without knowing anything. And Shivji and Parvatiji come and say, give darshan to him, and he is still not aware. We're just there. And they say, we are going to give you a boon. And this fellow gets up and says that I don't want any boon. If at all I want, you can ask me, I'll give you a boon. So to God himself, he says that I am going to give you a boon, I don't want anything. And it's funny that Shivji says that you should become my son. Then that's how the Kartikeya incarnation took place, that he became Kartikeya. So he was able to tell the Lord, I don't want anything. That portion of that Purana is so beautiful. You want to go again and again read it, because how he had not even one desire in his mind left.
Beautiful. I think happiness is our birthright. And we destroy our happiness by being a beggar. Keep asking. Otherwise, we are all very happy. We are that purest of pure. If we don't give task to the mind, our desires for more and more and more, we are already having everything in abundance. If you think you lack anything, see the elders, see the owner of this land, how they lived. And if you don't believe on them and you have no connection with Aboriginals, then if you have a connection with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, see how he lived. Because you need to look somewhere where you can feel that you have already too much, whatever you have. Because once you have santosha, contentment, then you don't need anything. When you don't need anything, you accept whatever it is. Mind dissolves. Mind is actually always empty. Here, the mind is not a problem at all. It is your unfulfilled desires which keeps mind busy. Mind is with us for a very long time, and mind also needs rest. It also wants to have eternal rest. It also wants to be empty. It's not there to trouble you. You are there to trouble mind. It's the other way around. All scriptures and people and meditation teacher, they are all treating mind as a villain. You have raped your mind. And now you are saying the mind is spoiled. Who has a spoiled mind? Your desires, your fantasies, your fascinations, your attachments. And who are you? You, that entity which thinks that you own this body-mind complex, which is completely wrong. It's the first sin. You have fallen from the grace. You are at such a high pedestal. You are pure awareness, that infinite awareness. You are part of that same God principle. And you start thinking you are a person with a body-mind complex, disturbed mind and a diseased body, and a lifespan of 100 years, with lot of suffering and some joy in between. And you can write your biography, that this happened and that happened, and it is nothing. It is completely fake. You are visiting on this earth. You have been given this gadget called as body-mind complex, but you are pure awareness. You exist before the body, you exist after the body, you exist while there is a body. But you are never this body even for a fraction of a second. It is your conditioning. It is, you are hypnotized with this body. You have taken up ownership of a thing which is mortal, which is made up of matter. Tomorrow you might be driving your car and you might start thinking that you are the car. Then what will happen? Then someone has to dehypnotize you, showing you that, look, without the car you can still survive. And here I am saying you can survive with an empty mind easily. A community like Aboriginal survived for 60,000 years. And you don't have to do anything to empty your mind. Just don't give more task to the mind. Let it settle. Don't run for anything. Just settle. Settle in. And the moment you take this conviction that you will settle, no one can move you. No one can bribe you. Not even God. As Neelakantanji was telling this story about Shiva trying to give some boon to Sanat Kumara. No one. And no one can do this for you. No guru, no teacher, no pilgrimage, no mantra, no yoga, no technique. Just see who does all these techniques, meditation and all. Who? Ego, mind. And then it is a big trap. Looking for some vacuum, some pauses, some experiences. Who is looking into experiences? Only mind, ego. This all is a big trap if you see. Meditation teachers, senior meditators, big ego. All these techniques are useless. What technique do you need to know your own self? Just accept whatever it is and keep quiet. When you keep quiet, remember, don't complain, even within. That, look, I am taking all these hardships, but I will not complain. This itself is a complaint. So you stay as awareness, and whatever comes is all okay. Nothing good, nothing bad. All people you interact, all okay. Nothing good, nothing bad. Circumstances are all okay. Everything is okay. The moment you start accepting everything is okay, your life becomes bliss. Because there is no wave, no restlessness. It is always the deep peace. Sometimes people think that a person who is abiding in awareness can give someone grace, can help someone if he wants to help. It is completely wrong. In awareness, you can't pray for a person, not even for your own self or your family member, because you are that prayer only, just awareness. So people who get grace is because they are open. They are also very elevated souls. And when you are elevated and you meet another awareness and you are elevated, you catch fire, you get grace. Even if that person in awareness doesn't want to give you anything, even if he doesn't want to, actually there is no intention there, so he can't want to or don't want to. But because of your own higher consciousness, you catch fire. Because you get grace because you are open. But if you have a lot of ego, you're a closed person and you go into a zone of pure awareness, nothing will happen to you. So how can you say that someone can give grace? No one can give grace. You get grace because you deserve grace, because you are at that higher level of openness. Remember, even the push from outside or the circumstances around you outside, which becomes conducive for your own awakening, is also coming from you only. Though it looks it is coming externally, but it is coming from you only. So have 100% trust and faith in that God principle in you, which is king, which is not beggar. It has created everything. Don't beg in front of God, because there is no one else except you. If the dream is a bit horrible, just accept it. It's your own creation. Don't fight. You fight, you control, you're giving strength to this Maya only, this illusion only. But the moment you accept, this external world loses power to affect you. The moment you touch anything with your desires and attachments, you lose power. You want to be the most powerful, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything external, don't touch anything internal. Internal means your mind, your sensations, your feelings, your body. Just watch it, be a witness. The moment you take away the plug from all these things, then you are left with pure energy, which actually you are. But when you dissipate this energy into things around you, you slip down into this ego mode, or you can say in the dynamic consciousness as a person, as a personal entity. You become so small, you become tiny, minuscule, caged in your own small world, very tiny world. And the moment you accept everything in that tiny world, you become infinite. It's not a very big price to pay. Actually, it's not even a price to pay. You have created your own cage with your own mind and desires. And you can break it like this in a fraction of a second if you understand what I'm saying, because it is your own creation. And it's a fake creation. It's just a mind game. They say it is as fake as horn of a hare. As a child of an infertile woman. It is completely fake. One wrong concept that you own this body mind is creating all suffering. And division, that you are separate from rest of the things. Just like in your dream. When you dream, you are an entity and then there are other entities. And you wake up, you and other entities all dissolve. And then you are entering into another dream, waking dream, in which you are an entity and then other dreams, other images are around you. And you don't, and no doubt comes to your mind, just like in that dream at night. All creation of the mind. When we sleep, when we dream, it is a secret hint of the Absolute, of the God, to wake you up that the same thing is happening again. Just be alert and awake and don't get into this trap. No practice needed, nothing needed. Simple understanding, and you are free at this moment. No need to go to a cave, no need to do any other sadhana except stay contented. Hug your situation, hug your circumstances, love it. Love your suffering, love your pain, love everything. And don't move. Be still in your seeing, and then nothing needs to be done. It is so easy, so simple, so straightforward. Here, there is no role of religion or spirituality or anything. You can be an atheist. Doesn't matter. Freedom is everyone's birthright. Because when we say birthright, you are even not a birth, you are unborn awareness. You're not even born. You are unborn. And the play of samsara will continue, the dream continues. But if you are awake and the dream continues, it doesn't affect you at all, never. But when you see another person in that dream of images who feels that he's suffering, then you only have compassion. And you tell your fellow being the same thing, that this is just a dream. Awake, and your suffering will end immediately. And if he is open, he will be awake. And once he gets awakened, he can awaken another person. It's a divine chain reaction. Such a beautiful thing. How beautiful it is when you are ending people's suffering. Not for this moment, not for this birth, eternally. And you are not ending, it is his own grace ending, because how he's meeting you, what the circumstances are, things just happens. You know, in Buddhism, they talk about that, I don't know the exact terms, but they say that there are these bodhisattvas who wants to leave earth unless everyone gets enlightened. So they keep taking rebirth to enlighten others. So everyone just gets out. But it's an unending thing, because whom do you don't want to enlighten? What about the plants, trees, fishes, birds, animals, rocks? Everything has the same consciousness. Best thing you can do for whole universe, whole, every being and thing and everything is staying in your own seeing all the time. Whether you do a job, you don't do a job, you're a professor, you are a carpenter, doesn't matter. Wherever you live, if you stay in your heart, you are spreading love around you. Even if you live in a cave, that love is spreading. You see, this consciousness is not an entity like a body-mind complex. It is all pervading awareness. Wherever it gets an opening in form of a body-mind, through a body-mind, it has that power, that 1,000 volts of power energy, which it spreads as love. That energy, that the quality of that energy is only love. Love and compassion. Nobody creates it. It is, that's what it is. And wherever you are, you will only spread love. And if there are these spots of love all around the world, how beautiful the place would be. Because love is very infectious. Everyone feels love. Even if you don't have the same language, love has no language. And everything understands love. Things which you call as non-living, they also understand love. because there's nothing non-living. They all have different level of consciousness in them. Even the chair you are sitting on, love your chair. It is talking to you. You might think it's a mad person's word if I'm talking like this, but it is true. Everything needs love, not just human beings. And this earth would be a better place if there are more awakened beings around us. There's no competition in it. This is an open field for anyone. There is no limit. It's not like US visa, there are limited number of people can enter in a year. Anyone can go anytime. Just you have to have an open heart. And for this, good news is there is no effort needed, no action needed. There is law of karma. You do good, be good. You acquire this, you do this, and this happens. It does not follow any law of karma. Awakening. Wherever you are, whatever good or bad you have done or not done doesn't matter. The moment you decide to drop, you are free. At that moment, you are free. Your background or what you have done, nothing matters. And it is not a thing that after 5 years you will get it, or 10 years. Because if you will get something, you will lose it then. You are that only. This is the second good news. You're already that. First is there is no condition. And the second is you're already that. And the third is just accept it. That's all. You are freedom. You're already liberated. You're already free. Just stop running. Be still and you are what you are. Let the body keep playing its role, whatever it's doing. And also don't fight with your mind. Let it speak out whatever it wants. Don't look for good thoughts and get scared of bad thoughts or whatever. Leave it. If you're not the owner of body mind, then why you are worried? You are not part of matter. Body mind is matter. And you don't own body mind. Then why you worry about it? The moment you accept your mind, whatever it is, mind dissolves at that moment. Only thing which is taking your mind is your ownership. You don't own my mind. You don't own your neighbor's mind. Then why you want to own one mind? Either own all the minds or just give up your own mind. Don't have ownership. What is holding on to this fake entity is your ownership. Otherwise, how your mind is disturbing you because you think it is your mind and the way what thoughts it is producing, some you like, some you don't like. Or the situation it is giving rise to, some you like, some you dislike. Because you're involved in this business and transaction with your mind. Stop that. You are free at this moment. Mind has no power to cause any disturbance. The moment you stand tall as awareness, mind runs away, takes a flight. Now, what is left, people call it emptiness, nothingness, awareness. But nothing can explain that. And that is what you are. Always. All the practices taught are to delay this process which can happen in this moment. And I've met people who are doing meditation for 40 years or 50 years, and then they write a book that keep doing meditation for next 60 years or 40 years and always think that you are a newcomer to meditation. I don't know what type of mindset it is. As Bhagavan rightly points out, you are making thief as the policeman. Because all these things are done by the mind only, isn't it? All practices. Abide in your pure awareness. Morning you wake up, let mind be crying, speaking to you, you don't listen. You stay neutral, impartial. And this is the best antidote to mind. If you're not interested, it will be the death of mind. Stay like that, stay neutral, stay impartial. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.